You're most welcome to the Perception Show. My name is SHARON Ngabulijo, your only host for the Perception. We're always live every Saturday from 9 p.m. You can find us on Fiktube. You can either download the Fiktube app or you can find us at www.fiktube.com every Saturday, 9 p.m. For those having parties, you have weddings, you have birthday parties, introductions, any kind of parties, and you want makeup, you can contact Sharifa's Beauty Glam opposite CPS at room C303 for makeup. If you want to look like me today, you can contact her on 0709 771 772. Allow me to repeat the number, 0709 771 772. Today with me is a group of entrepreneurs, they're intellectuals, there's social scientists from Makerere University, and we have Jane, Halima, and Peter. We are going to look at financial literacy today. We are going to see how the different ways in which we can budget for our monies, how we can save, how we can invest, the banking, and a lot more. Just stay tuned on the show. When we look at, before we go any further, let me allow my colleagues to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy again to be in this show. Very glad to be with my sisters and brothers. I'm Jane MUTUSI. Those are my names.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be hosted for this show for the first time. My name is HALIMAH, MIRO, NANSUBUGA. And I'm so excited. You know, anything connected with money, me, I just get excited automatically. So I'm so happy to discuss about financial literacy with you people. And yes, that's why I'm here. Hope you enjoy the show.
All right, my name is Gift Peter, and a very good evening to each and every one. It's always a privilege to engage in such discussions, and I look forward to discuss about financial literacy on this show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Most of you out there are like, in Uganda, how can you talk about savings? There is nothing we save, we can barely afford our needs. But today you're going to learn more on how we can help you save your money. At least they always say 1 by 1 makes a bundle, so you can save the little you have, so that within a certain period of time you can be able to get whatever you needed, maybe, and you couldn't afford it, you will have saved enough money for it. Or maybe you could be able to reach where you want to reach to achieve your goals. Some people, mostly graduates like us, most of us keep waiting for employment opportunities where, like, you're done with campus, but then you're waiting for some other company to employ you somewhere, to call you for a job or what. But then in most cases, I believe education is not just about getting the qualifications for being employed somewhere else, but then education liberates our minds. It gives us that liberation of the mind, whereby you can be flexible enough, you can be creative enough. You don't have to wait for someone to give you, to employ you or what, but then you can save, and then you can be able to invest that money, and you'll be able to reach your goals. Today we are going to look at savings, budgeting, banking, investing, and a lot more. Before we go further, I wanted to talk about savings. When we see savings, if you're doing some other kind of job and then you're earning, like, let's say you're 300,000, if you want to be a good person, I'd say, if you want to save, if you want to achieve, before you start saving, you first have to set a goal, by the way, something that motivates you into saving, something that gives you the zeal to say that I want to save because there's something you're looking at. You have to have a goal, you have to have a plan where you want to reach, and before you get this goal, there are certain things that you really have to consider. For example, there are many types of goals. If you want Kangambe I want to build a house, njagala zimbe nyumba by maybe 2 years time or in 3 years time. You don't have to, you have to have, that's a long-term goal, because a goal that is about a year and above is a long-term goal. But you can set a short-term goal that can help you drive you towards that long-term goal. Or maybe you can say that I need to build a house. What do I need right now? Then you're like, I'm earning only 300,000. What do I need in order to build that house in 3 years? And then you're like, I can start saving like 100,000 per month. But then you should also set a short-term goal, because if you're saving 100,000 per month for the 3 years, you may find out that the money may be less for you to build a house, or you may use the money or misuse the money, something like that. So you can say that I'm saving maybe 100,000 per month. When you earn that salary, before you spend it on the needs that you want, the needs that you need, let's say food, let's say clothes, basic needs differ depending on the person. You can either, you first save that money before you spend it. No gamba mtwalo 10 oluzifuna wezi, I just put it in the bank or maybe in my mobile money account, and then the remaining 200 you use on your savings. Like that, then you're like, after maybe 3 months, you set a short-term goal. I need to buy a cow with that money, or I need to buy a goat. We shall hear a lot more from our people today, from the panelists. Let me give them a chance to talk more about savings. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. You know, I told you when it comes to money, I'm the most excited person. Thank you so much, Miss. Yeah. So for money, she talks about saving. Yeah, but before you look at saving, you have to look at exactly where you get the money from, the money you're planning to save. What is the source of that money? When you look at various financial literacy teachers or people who talk about economics worldwide, for example, Robert Kiyosaki, who is a financial advisor to Donald Trump, that rich guy. Yeah, he talks about the 4 different ways we make money. You find that some people, it's called the cash flow quadrant. How does money flow into your pockets? We have 4 different types. We have the E quadrant, which is the employee. These are the people, especially the fresh graduates who are looking for jobs. You get a job and that means you're employed. So we have the employee, whereby you have a job and you're given money by salary. Then he talks about the self-employed. There are those people who are like, me, I don't want to be working for someone. I want to be my own boss. So these are the self-employed people. You can also make money via that. Then he talks about the business owners. Now, when we talk about business, we don't mean the business whereby you have a small salon, you have, maybe a shop, you have something small. No. The business owner is someone who employs more than 500 people. So that means very few people can be real business owners with our economy as Ugandans, but to some other countries it's very, very possible. Then it talks about investors. Now when it comes to investors, the thing is, these people no longer work. It's money that works for them. So when you talk about savings, you have to first look at where you're going to get the money from, the money you're going to save. And then from the savings, you can uplift to what? To investment. Yeah, so me, after realizing where you can, maybe for us who are starters, people who are just from school, people who are looking for what to do, you don't need a job. That's what I can first say. You don't really need a job. All what you need is financial literacy, the skills you have to be having in order to know how to make money and how to spend it. For example, some of us, I will not say some of you, some of us, you wait for that job to come. Some are lucky, they get the jobs immediately. Some even work before they even finish school. Some take some time to get that job. But when you look at savings, when you look at the way we spend money, it's very hard to be practical, to save before you spend. In most cases, people save after spending, which makes it hard for you to to reach your goals. She talked about goals. Yeah, that zeal, that's something you want that pushes you to save as much as you can. So it's very, very hard with our economy. Everything is demanding rent, you know, fuel, everything is becoming a bit complicated. So saving becomes a bit hard. So what you have to do, you are the youth, you are someone who is listening to us. What you have to do is you don't just have to wait for that job, but you have to use those small resources, the skills you have to make something out of the out of the economy. Yeah, so we shall discuss about what you can do, different things you can do to make that money. But what I can say, we don't necessarily need a job. You need to just use every resource around you to make money. Grab the opportunity. Even if you're working, you can have something different which gives you money. Yeah, you know, money is fuel. Money is energy. For example, me myself, I was lucky COVID came in March. So yeah, I say I was lucky COVID came in March, because from there universities were closed. I was in my final year, so I was trying to look for what can I do to make money. So I joined a certain company which deals in a documentation, passport, visa, as a salesperson. But this was what I can say, it was below my caliber, because being a literature graduate, I can find a school and teach. So we used to market permits. You go to the street, you talk to person per person, telling them about your services. But I did that for 3 months, and from there I was lucky, I got a job. And as I was working, now COVID went, and we were supposed to come back to school and do our exams. I did my papers, I finished them as I was working. Meaning you don't necessarily need to finish school for you to have something which is income generating. And from there, that's why I've gotten a better job. But still necessarily not because of what I got from school, but because of the skills, you know, knowledge. They say if you want to hide something from an African, put it in the book. And that thing is true. If you don't learn, it takes time. So it's just a matter of grabbing it doesn't matter what people say. You know, when you're moving and you know you're telling people you can start saving on your permit, it's like they see you as a hawker, but it's okay as long as you can put something in your pocket at the end of the day. From there, you can get someone else who can lead you to a better opportunity, and you find by the time you're working, you're getting money from your job, you're getting money from your small business, you're getting money from different sources. Yeah, so saving becomes a bit easy. You even make a choice. I'm going to save this money from this particular something. Then I'm going to spend this money from my job. It becomes very easy. And when it comes to saving, another thing about saving, most of us have weird dreams. Yes, we need to dream big, but sometimes we dream, you know, impossibilities. For example, us who are just from school, the things we consider sometimes to be very important is a good home, you know, a house, a car, you know, those, you know, very good, beautiful things. But again, as you're starting to save, you don't start with the bigger dreams. You have the short term, the mid-term, and the long-term goals. So you start small. You save, even if you're saving 1,000 shillings a day, that money can later be saved as 10,000, and then in a short term it can be saved as 100,000, and then you hit your you hit your goals. So about saving, before you start to save, you have to look first, where are you getting your money from? If you're earning 300 and you got to spend all your time at work, then it's going to be hard for you. At the end of the month, you might not be in position to clear the rent, to buy what you want, and again to save. And if you work without enjoying your money, then you're not in position to make more money. You can only make more money when you see the usefulness of the little money you've made. So as you save, try to strategize where exactly your source of income is, no matter how small it is. Yeah, so thank you so much about the saving part.
Thank you so much, Halima. She has really talked about a lot of you out there will be able people out there and they're like, saving, how am I supposed to save what I don't have? How am I supposed to save when I have nothing? I have nothing to save. I can barely even afford my basic needs. I can barely afford food. How am I supposed to save? Most of you, there is a big problem I noticed about Ugandan youth. Yes, most of you like so much to be in the urban areas, and you disguise some kind of jobs, and they're like, this one I can do, this one I cannot do, I can't be in the village, I need to be in town. But then you have a lot of resources in villages. Some of you are talented. Some of you have a lot of gifts, what you are good at, but you minimize them. You don't take advantage of that. You have lands in your villages. You minimize farming. You don't want it. And then also, for those that are earning something, at least some money from whatever they are doing, they are very poor budgeters. They are not so good enough in budgeting. So I wanted us also to learn more about budgeting and how we can allocate. A lot of you out there will be able to save their money and have also gained even more than what I have gained today. Thank you. Most people out there and they're like, saving, how am I supposed to save what I don't have? How am I supposed to save when I have nothing? I have nothing to save. I can barely even afford my basic needs. I can barely afford food. How am I supposed to save? Most of you, there is a big problem I noticed about Ugandan youth. Yes, most of you like so much to be in the urban areas, and you disguise some kind of jobs, and they're like, this one I can do, this one I cannot do, I can't be in the village, I need to be in town. But then you have a lot of resources in villages. Some of you are talented. Some of you have a lot of gifts, what you are good at, but you minimize them. You don't take advantage of that. You have lands in your villages. You minimize farming. You don't want it. And then also, for those that are earning something, at least some money from whatever they are doing, they are very poor budgeters. They are not so good enough in budgeting. So I wanted us also to learn more about budgeting and how we can allocate money into our in budgeting, in resources, and how we can also get all our resources, put them together, and be able to make something at the end of the day. Peter, I think you should throw more light on that.
All right, thank you very much, Sharon, for this wonderful discussion. If I can pedal back to what Halima was discussing about, she was telling us more about savings, and I really enjoyed her points. Now, to add a little on what she said, I can say that, saving is not something which is very easy. It is disturbing, trust me. It's not very easy. You can, that's why you ask those questions. If I'm able to save, how can I save when I don't have? So those are the enduring questions that people ask, and it's not easy to save. Now, you can save. Before you save, you need to prioritize. You need to have a motive or a goal that you really want to use that money for, because at the end of the day, you can save that money, and if you don't have a clear direction of where you're going to take that money into, you may use it for something which is very useless. Yeah, so making saving a very hard thing, or not a productive stuff. So I believe you need to first of all set a priority that, yeah, I'm saving this money, but it must be channeled to this event, to this product, to this occasion, to this goal. So that when you save, you have a clear picture of what this money is going to be used for. It was one person called Confucius who said that when prosperity visits you, you don't have to use it all. He was emphasizing the value of living by our means, perseverance, persistence, with which he was saying that you might have prosperity, or God might bless you with something little, but don't use it all. The future waits for you. These things might go, but then you need to use it sparingly. Yeah. So I believe with savings, you must have something that with which you'll use that money for. Yeah. And because of that fact, people tend to get it wrong. Yeah, because they save the money, yeah, they might have it, but then because you don't have a clear direction, you know, that motive or that thing that you're going to use the money for is what should drive your mind about savings. Most people fail to do that, and that's why you find people saying, I've saved, I don't see the value of it, because they haven't used it right. If you had used it right for the right cause, maybe you say, yeah, next year I'm saving this money and I'm going to buy a television. Then you save the money in the middle of things, you use it for drinking, partying. You didn't reach that goal. So that's a weakness that people have got to orient and solve. Now, to your question about budgeting, you see, for you to arrive at that level of budgeting, first of all, you must have the funds. Now, for you to have the funds, it also takes you back to savings. Yeah, you must have savings to budget. I can't budget when I don't have money. That is nearly impossible. Now, when you have the money, it's when you can budget. Now, what comes in that budget? You see, you must have priorities. At that point, I will keep emphasizing it. Set the priorities right. Budget for what is valuable. Yeah? Get those key things that you think your money can find value in. For example, I might have 50,000 as a student at Makerere. 50,000, and this is the money I have for the month. Now, what are those key issues that I think I first need to sort out? One, I look for food, because a hungry man is any hungry person, and the brain doesn't function when the person is hungry. So I first get those key things that I believe I need to channel this money. Setting priorities, yeah, is the first thing in budget. Now, after setting the budget, of course, you also need to be a little bit respectful to your budget. What I mean is that a budget is a piece of paper, yeah? But then pay some level of respect. Use the money for the intended budget. You are saying the money here is allocated for food, but then you use it for drinking. That doesn't make good sense. So I believe you need to set priorities right, and then it is from those priorities that you pay allegiance to. Like you do your best to stick to the budget. That's what I mean. You do your best to stick to the budget. And the other thing that I'll raise is that most times when you draw a budget and you are living by the budget, but then you see, because you have too much interests, too much wants, too much needs, your mouth is over demanding. You want to have a lot on the table. So it makes you to stretch more than the budget, which affects also your drawings and your budgeting. So I believe setting priorities right, sticking to the budget, and also, you know, having respect, you know, paying respect to the budget. That's what's going to create impact. You know, you also have to live by your standards. You know, you live by your standards. That one, I mean, get something that you think is worth your budget, because you can't live in a very expensive life when you know your budget is really Mickey Mouse, so you can't make impact when you live a luxurious life, and your budget is something which is laughable, just a flash in the pan. Yes. So those are the points I think if we are to talk about budget, we need to raise forth. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter. You talked about something like respecting a budget and making sure that what you had budgeted for that money is used for that purpose. I think there is a bank account whereby it's called fixed account, where you can only deposit but you can't withdraw until a specific period of time. I think people should adopt that too, because it helps you not to misuse your money that you had saved for something else. Like if you had saved money and you want to withdraw it after 2 years, you cannot withdraw it not until that period elapses. Then after you've gotten that money, you can use it for what you had planned for it. Thank you. And then also people are like, when you set a goal, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to achieve, like if you want to achieve something maybe in a year's time, what am I supposed to do after saving this money? And then they actually just save and they do not know how to allocate this money, or maybe they need more information on maybe setting a goal, like maybe I want this, and then what do you need to get there? Setting a deadline for that. Some people have goals without deadlines. Like I'm saving to get this, but then they don't have deadlines for their goals. So I think it's also important to have a deadline. There are steps that they should follow. The steps that they should follow into achieving that goal, or maybe the support that they need. Let's say your goal is you have a kid. Your goal is to pay this person's tuition at campus. What support do you need? Maybe you need people. You need advisors, you need counselors. There might be a support that you need. There are steps that you're supposed to follow, from saving, budgeting, banking, investing, until when you reach your goal. I don't know if you're understanding me, Jen. Yes, I wanted you to talk more about that.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon. When you talk about that, how can someone, like if someone has decided maybe to sponsor someone, which criteria should you follow? To me, in my own standing, I can say sometimes it needs patience, because you may say, let me plant these trees, by the time this person reaches to the university, these trees will be old and I can be able to sell. But again, you may not know, we are from different backgrounds and from different societies. So there are people, as my sister said, that she had an opportunity to get a job. She was working somewhere. After working somewhere, she had to get a permanent job. So there is also this person at campus who has a chance, who gets some good money from a parent. So now let me say this person is targeting, after my campus, I want to have a business. So what can make a student reach there? If a student is earning some money, there is some pocket money even university students get from parents. So now this time we need to develop ideas at campus. Make sure if you're earning that money, remember after campus you will not be getting that money from parents. Not so. So you need at least to start saving from that money. I was surprised last week, there is a certain primary kid I met. So this kid had come to the shop. They normally give this kid lunch money. So instead of this kid eating the money, she had to keep. She came at the shop and said, I want some change so that I can return mommy's balance and I save my money. So people, you start saving today. You're saving your pocket money. To a student also, saving cash is difficult. If you're saving some, 50 can buy a little goat, 50 can buy a chicken. By the time you finish your 3 years, those chicken will have grown and produced more. So it is better to save, I think, in resources, because it must, yes, to invest in resources, because I've always been seeing these memes that someone buys a phone of 800, another person buys a goat. At the end of 3 years, the other one of goat has more than 3 goats, and the one of phone, it is already old. So you need to save in resources. And also another thing I would talk about saving, in most cases we need to be patient here in Uganda, because we earn less. So it would be better you be patient than saying that Ugandan money teziwera. But papa, you will decide to steal and get a car. At the end, maybe you die, even you leave all what you had made before to other people, even who didn't suffer for it. So we need to be patient if we are to save. You be patient. Sometimes also, even you can decide also to make your, there is me, what I believe in pain. When you get pain, you get paid. So you can decide to be patient. The little money you get, now this goes to girls, the little money you get, instead of rushing to buy a dress, because Gloria has those nice dresses. We are from different backgrounds. So if you compete with someone else, you may fail to save. Maybe Gloria, the family has been saving for Gloria, and for you, you also want to do the same. So we need to know where we come from. We need to know the level of businesses. We need to know the resources that you have as a person, but not depending on someone. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen. Although you didn't bring out what I was talking about, but then you've given us something very important also, depending on the topic. I wanted to talk about the steps that someone should follow. Someone may be out there, maybe having a certain source of income, and due to this topic and this show, the person has gotten interested in saving, budgeting, and how to invest this money and how it can accumulate and make more money. And then someone is like, what should I do? My friend out there, to the viewers, first of all, if you've been earning some money and you've been using it, you've been misusing it the way you want to slay, to look good, you want the nice hair, you want the what, but then now at least you're getting interested in what? In saving and also in achieving bigger goals. Let's say, for example, the first thing you should do is to set a plan, set a goal, name that thing that you want to achieve in a long term. Set that long-term plan that you want, that long-term goal that you want. Let's say you want to buy a boda, you want to buy a motorbike, maybe after a year or a year and a half. And then what do you need to buy that boda after that 1 year and a half? How much do you need? You need, like, let's say 5 million to buy that new motorbike. And then 5 million, if you're to save the money you have, after removing the costs, the needs that you need, there are certain things you can't do without. Now, like food, you can't do anyway. Needs change depending on the person. I have a friend who is like, they never study customer makeup. So needs differ depending on the person. Some people prefer makeup to food. Some people prefer long nails, artificial nails to food. So needs differ. So after removing those needs that you cannot do without, you need them. And also, don't be extravagant when you're budgeting for the needs. Because you want food, you start budgeting for KFC every day. You start budgeting for pizzas every day. At least make reasonable budgets depending on how much you're earning, and also depending on what you want to achieve. How much does it cost? You get? So after naming what you want and then knowing the amount you're earning per month or what you're getting from your business, your little business per day, after knowing that, you've set your long-term goal of buying a motorbike. Set a short-term goal also. Like say I want a motorbike in 1.5 years, but I need to get something in 3 months and also get something in 6 months that will take me towards getting that motorbike in 1.5 years period. Because most cases when we decide to save money throughout the period until we get what you want, there are some emergencies that may come up. Someone is sick, someone has got an accident, so you go and withdraw that money and use it for those purposes. But if you say I want a motorbike in 1.5 years, and then after you start saving your money. Before you start saving, make a budget, get a paper and a pen, draw your budget properly. Say, for food I have to spend this per month, for this I have to spend this, depending on your basic needs that you cannot do without. Every day I go for work, I need this amount of transport on a daily. Put it there, calculate in a month how much do you need for transport, how much are you left with, save that money. In 3 months, how much will I have made? Those are the goals, those are the short-term goals, 3 months and below. In those 3 months, what should I buy with that amount of money? At least invest, continue investing. Keeping money there being dormant sometimes it brings you behind, But then when you have your 100,000, you buy a goat using that money. Invest it in something that goat is going to reproduce, and you're going to be making more money out of that goat as you are still saving. And then you're like, after 6 months, maybe you'll be having like 2 goats. You can sell them and buy something else. Let's say example, you have a cow. Maybe after 8 months, you keep that cow. That cow is producing. At the same time, you're still saving your money the way you've been. So in 1.5 years, you have like your 2 cows, which you can sell, including your savings, and then you will be able to achieve what you want. You also have to look at the support that you need. This is so very much important. Most cases, being youth, young people, we have a lot of temptations, and sometimes we need people to guide us, just like this program is guiding you out there to know how you're supposed to budget for your money, to know how you're supposed to allocate your money, save and all that. In most cases, we need people to guide us. We need people to show us direction, and most times these are the people that we trust most, like maybe our parents, elders in the community. You know best who you trust most in your community or in your family. Thank you. Due to the interest of time, we are going to have a short break. But before I forget, if you have any weddings, you have introductions, you have parties, you want makeup, classic makeup, just contact Sharifa's Beauty Glam opposite CPS at Tower Mall, room C303. You can contact her on 0709 771 772. That's Sharifa's Beauty Glam for makeup. And also for those that want to do studies, computer studies in graphics designing, photography, camera work, video editing, music, audio production, among others, you can contact Pimpa Productions at Princess Complex, just next to Kasuri roundabout, down a floor, or you can call him on 0703 91 99 71 or 0782 83 88 92. Let's have a short break and we'll be right back.